Hello guys. So in the last video we did touch about on a lot of FAQs on getting your dream job in big five software companies, the tech companies in the world. And before ending, we just talked about having strong keywords and making a really good resume. And I would just like to repeat the importance of making a good resume, and throw in another nugget at you regarding that. And what I would like to tell you about making a good resume is that a recruiter on an average with these big companies go through at least 1 million resume in a month. So it is very important not to keep redundant information or irrelevant information in your resume. And as long as you're not a national or international level athlete, it is good to keep your extracurricular activities out of your resume and keep only the hardcore technical stuffs on which you are expecting of being hired to keep in your resume. And we also talked about there are a few people who are really gifted, and they end up in these large companies, these amazing companies. However, I emphasize on the fact that hard work can beat luck and talent every single time. So you need to be persistent, you need to be consistent, and you need to get up every time you fall down. And that's how you can actually optimize your chances of getting into the big five tech companies in the world. And in this video I would like to talk about an interview game. So I have done a lot of research and development, and I have come up with a mock interview game which will actually enhance your chances a lot in getting into top notch tech companies like Amazon, Facebook, Microsoft, Google, and Apple. So yeah, I have actually jotted it down on a piece of paper. I'll just kind of read it out, and if you have any questions regarding this or you have a doubt, then you can actually ask in the comment section. So whatever points I'm dictating right now, try to follow them as closely as possible because they are highly researched. And if you're not able to follow it completely and objectively, you should keep it as close as possible. And if you have any doubts regarding that, please ask in the comment section. So actually, I was looking at a talk done by Seen Lee on YouTube, whose link also I will mention. He talks about a couple of other stuffs as well, which might help you. So I'll mention the link in the description. And I'm not intending to make any money out of these talks. I'm just here to help people. So yeah, so I'll just cover them as a part of this video as well. So what you should do is make a group of 2 to 3 people, and try to find in the same group, try to find people of who are having experiences around like your experience level. So if you're like a developer with 5 years of experience, you should try to find developers in your group having 4 to 6 years of experience and something like that, so that it benefits all of you equally. And what you need to do is that you need to meet 3 to 4 times a week, and the day before you meet, solve a coding challenge from a different source. And you guys need to solve different coding challenges, and make sure that you understand the solution really well. You understand the solution really well and really thoroughly. And when you meet, one of you have to act as an interviewer, and rest of you have to act as an interviewee. So interviewee definitely solves a problem and also asks questions to remove ambiguities. So what you should essentially do is talk with the interviewer and make sure that he has understood the problem correctly. And then before he starts writing the code, he should actually mention his approach with the interviewer, um, and explain the steps that he will be taking and why he will be taking those steps and those kind of stuff. And once all the ambiguities are removed, he should write the code. And as an interview you should do is that basically pick up the interviews where they are going wrong and poke them in the right direction. That is what good interviewers do. So this is important not only because it is practice, but also because right now you are sitting on the other side of the interview table. You are the interviewee. And to be very honest, I have taken a lot of interviews, and I have always been in the interview panels of the companies that I have worked with, and the team that I have led. Actually, in my current organization, I have myself formed my own team, but I would not like to talk much about that because of NDAs and couple of other constraints. So what really happens is that the interviewee may come up with the most optimal solution, the fastest solution, or the simplest solution. However, that is not the best solution for him in that instance. The best solution for the interview in that instance to come up with is the solution that interviewer has in mind. So even though you might come up with a really great solution, and this is kind of controversial, and a lot of times the best solution is the same solution that the interviewer has in mind, but not always. And this basically, the interviewer thinks that the solution that he has in mind is really the best solution, and this phenomena is known as confirmation bias. So you can search about confirmation bias on Google. There are a lot of articles written on that. So how this game will help is that it will enable you to understand how interviewers and interviewees form their general consensus, and it is always better to have you to understand what the general consensus of the group is, or what the general consensus of the industry is, and that way you will be able to resonate properly with the general consensus, and that's how this game will help you. And I have seen and proved that this game is really helpful. However, there might be a better solution that you have in mind, but at the same time it will really help you to understand at the same time it will really help you to understand if the general consensus solution is not same as the solution that you have actually come up with, which is better. So what are the things that you can do at this point in time? At this point in time, you can actually give the solution that you think is the general consensus, and then you should mention about the better solution that you have in mind. However, you should only do that if you will be able to basically understand as well as explain and teach that solution from top to bottom to your interviewer. Otherwise the interviewer will feel that you don't know what you're talking about. Hence it is very, very critical not to get into that kind of situation. It is always better to avoid that situation. And also there are a lot of times wherein you come up with a solution which you feel should be the general consensus, but your interviewer does not agree with you. In my personal opinion, what you should do in those cases is that you should basically take a stand, but you should not be violent. But you should gently reason out with the interviewer and convince him that your solution is best. You should calculate the time complexity, space complexity, stress about the maintainability, as well as the as well as the simplicity of your solution. And then you should basically show the interviewer by running a couple of general and couple of edge test cases, rainy day test cases, and as well as sunny day as well as rainy day test cases. And then you should ask for a few test cases to be dry run on your solution by the interviewer. That will go a long way in convincing the interviewer that your solution is the best solution. um, so yeah, the couple of points that I've jotted down that I think might help in this conversation. Yeah, so a little bit of other point that I really wanted to add to this conversation is that you should understand that the interviewer is your friend and not your enemy, and you should be in friendly terms with him. At the end of the interview, the interviewer generally asks if you have any questions about him, or about him or with for him. So you should definitely take that opportunity to show an interest in the team, as well as in the company. And besides team and company, the interviewer himself and the kind of technical work he's doing. So you should ask questions like about how the work culture of the company is, and what are the technology platforms they are working in, and what is the technology that specifically interviewer is working in. And if possible, you should also take a little bit of feedback about your performance, and you should ask him that if he has to suggest you some areas of improvement, what those areas of improvement would be. So I hope you liked the third part of our series, in which I basically help people in getting jobs at their dream companies, top five top notch companies on the planet in terms of technology, which are Amazon, Google, Microsoft, Facebook, and Apple. As always, I do hope that you learned something out of this video. So yeah, see you next time.